Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So here's the thing. Exactly a month ago I made a video titled 1 year of social media anniversary, and I talked about like the benefits and what I got out of this experience and whatnot. But surprise surprise, I went back to social media and I want to explain both why and share the reason why I did it and the reason why I think kind of this course of you know um, basically oh, I got off social media, my life is so much better, and the people that was only contacting me through social media are not real friends, and all that stuff. I think it's a little bit hypocritical and kind of feel like it's a movement that is on trend, has been on trend for a while, and I think that many people walk into it because it's trendy. Uh, and uh, I think I was a victim of this. I think I was a victim of you know me trying to stroke my ego, trying to, oh, she's so different, she's so unique, she doesn't have social media. But actually, this year that I've been without social media, uh, the good thing that happened is that I became much more critical on the things that I do. And one of the things that I really disliked about this is both a good and a bad thing. So being hypercritical. So on one side, you question yourself all the time in terms of, is this really me? Am I the one doing this? Am I the one who really, do I really want this? But at the same time, when overthinking, you stop doing, you stop living, you stop, you start thinking about every single thing and every single beat of thing. And maybe even right now I'm thinking, why am I even doing this video? Does it make sense? I don't know. I just want to make it. And I feel like making it, and I feel like filming it. And I feel like filming it in English and not in Spanish and whatever. And I'm gonna upload it, possibly. uh, and the reason why I decided to make this video is because I started researching this like about 4 days ago, and I was like, okay, has someone gone back to social media after a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever? And oh my god, notifications! I'm gonna silence them. Uh, you, uh, and I couldn't find anything on YouTube, Reddit, not even other social media channels. Like I couldn't find it. And actually, I recall Substack posts from a couple months ago of people being like, hey, I went back to social media, but they didn't say like I really wanted to. They were like, oh, this is a relapse, as in, the same way someone relapses on, alcohol and drugs, but not in a positive note, as I am coming today and seeing like, hey, I went back to social media and I think it's a positive thing for me. But I don't know, the last couple months. So let's summarize this year. So this year that I've been off social media, I started following YouTube channels. So I never stopped the YouTube consumption, which is of course social media, and I felt like it was a different type of social media. But I realized that I became highly influenced by these channels that are about minimalism, underconsumption, environmentalism, and oh my god, the last one. Oh yeah, like digital detoxes and off social media kind of channels. I realized that it is a different type of influencing. Influencing is not bad. We're all influenced all the time, every single time. Whenever we read a book, whenever we watch a TV show, we are influenced. But I think that this good thing about being critical of the things we consume is like, okay, am I going too far into this? And I think that I was getting too far into this when I started noticing these people go into rabbit holes of, questioning every single decision. Oh my God, the light suddenly vanished. Well, whatever. We'll just make do. But basically, I started following channels about no buys, and I came across a video of a girl that I used to enjoy her videos, but then she became frugal to the point that I felt it was disrespectful to people who actually have to be frugal because they're living in poverty. And at the beginning I was like, okay, this girl is doing it because she wants to move abroad, and it's a big goal, you need money for that goal, and you're doing it all by because of that. Great. But then a video came up where she said, I want to move to this country and I don't want to work. And I was just like, what? I do not dream of labor. No one does. But we live in a society that if you care about community, if you care about society, you're going to work, you're going to contribute. She didn't want to contribute to anything. And she was like, I am going to live off of the land. I'm going to cultivate my food and eat what I cultivate. I don't know if cultivate is a word, but whatever. You understand what I mean. And there I was pausing a video thinking, are you going to cultivate your own electricity? Are you going to cultivate your own internet? She basically said that she didn't need anything. Like, she didn't need money because she didn't need anything. You have to buy the seeds for the tomatoes, I guess. You have to buy at least a tomato, I guess. I don't know. I felt like it was so out of touch. Like, it was so delusional. Like, I just don't understand people who don't want to work in that sense. Like, even people who do like art or have their own businesses, they work. And I think that I don't view as work as something vile or something bad. I view work as getting money to sustain yourself, to sustain and cover your basic needs. Because for your basic needs you need money to rent. Are you gonna live in the woods? Like, and then there was this other girl that I fully respect. I think her videos are, they're very thoughtful. She's very mindful. Sometimes she's a little bit tone deaf, but I think that comes from the fact that she overanalyzes everything and then something ends up escaping that analysis. But she's overall a really nice person and everything. But I feel like she is now a victim to overanalyzing absolutely everything she does, and she went so far to viewing her purchases from last year and criticizing her, the reasons why she was going to buy something. So usually when you are in a low buy or you want to start spending less, you start thinking, okay, why do I really want this? Do I really need this? And it's just like sometimes you just want things and it's not bad. So I think that's overall the thing that I want to highlight in this video regarding consumption and social media. It is okay to want things just because. I can't, okay, do I have anything here that I have bought on a whim? I don't, but for example, I'm gonna take this as an example because I don't know, it's something that it's quite useless. My boyfriend gave me this because, I'm a very anxious person and I like squishies, but, I'm not gonna ruin this. This is very cute. Okay, I'm gonna unbox it just for you. Look at this. I'm not gonna, do this to the toy because it's very cute. And I would have bought this. This is useless. This is plastic. This is even bad for the environment, but this is cute. And every once in a while, I'm gonna get something cute. I'm not gonna get myself in debt or, that kind of thing. But I want to buy something because it is cute. And do I have too many cute things? Yeah, I do. But I every once in a while, a cute thing doesn't hurt. Like, I don't know. I think that we are at a point in society where we are going, too far to the other side, like being completely frugal to the point that to me now it feels disrespectful to people who actually have to be frugal because they live in poverty, because they, it feels to me that we are glamorizing something that other people struggle with, like it is okay to try minimalism and try to take what is useful from it because you feel like you are too much into overconsumption and everything. It's fine, but feeling like, oh, I'm gonna live with only 33 pieces of clothing, it's just like some people have to live with 33 pieces because they don't have money to buy more or because they don't have the rooms to store more than those pieces. You only have one pair of sneakers. It is completely normal for some people to have only one pair of sneakers. Like, I feel like the way someone sees something as a lifestyle, something aspirational, it is the reality of some other folks that cannot afford anything better. And that sits really wrong with me. I don't like it. I really don't. You know, whenever people do massive declutters, I mean, I have done massive declutterings as well. I'm not gonna say that I'm, a saint here or anything, but lately, whenever I want to throw something away, I'm just like, mm, it is not good for the environment, and at the same time, it's just like it is not the fact that, oh, this is taking up space. Well, I am kind of grateful that stuff is taking up space in my home. I mean, I am not a hoarder, not anymore. I have more than enough. I am not struggling to get by, in the house because I have a lot of clothes. Uh, but I don't know. I just want to be mindful in that sense, mindful about other human beings, you know, uh, as much as I can. Of course, you cannot be, what they say, like, there's no, what is the saying? How does the saying go? Like, mm, there is no conscious consumption under capitalism. Well, something like that, yes. But I'm going to try as hard as I can to be as mindful as I can to other folks, to other people. I'm not going to be perfect. I still shop fast fashion. I still shop retail. And at some point, I enjoy it. I'm not going to say that I don't. Um, but I'm not going to suffer because of capitalism, because of consumption. We live in a capitalist society. And unless you go way too off the grid, it is going to be painful. And I think that for social media, it's the same. It always, this discussion always brings me back to a moment here in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where we switched to, like putting coins in a machine at the bus or at the tube station, subway, tube. Is it tube only for Britain? Whatever, I'm going to say just about. We went from putting in coins to pay for a ticket and having like a plastic card with the money you can just put in the card. And we had both systems coexisting for a couple months. And I remember people being like, I'm never going to use a card. I don't want technology. I want my coins. I'm going to keep paying with coins. And now those machines don't even exist anymore. And you had to adapt. That it is the way it is. And if you don't like it, then that's the way it is. I mean, it's like trying to pay in Japanese yen here in Argentina, where we, only accept pesos or US dollars. Like, you cannot pay without a currency. I go to the supermarket and I cannot even pay in US dollars at the moment. Only like pesos. I'm gonna turn on this light. That's a little bit better, I think. So you have to adapt. And I think with social media, it's the same. Some people are more comfortable with social media rather than their phone numbers. I have a couple of friends that do not give out their phone numbers to strangers. And I think that's really smart. I believe that's smart. I would rather have, give someone my Instagram profile rather than give them my personal number. I think that would be actually wiser in many other aspects. Um, which is the reason why I never deleted my profiles in the first place. I felt like that was a little bit too much for me. And now I realize it is because I never wanted really to walk away. What I wanted to do, and I'm going to pause for a second, there were too many noises outside. So I was saying that, I never wanted to delete my profiles because I think that is too much for me. And I think that at the bottom of my heart, what I wanted was to have a better relationship with social media. But at the stage that I was in, always oversharing to the point that at some point I remember in 2019 I shared the door, like the door of my apartment, the actual street where I lived in, and that is super dangerous. And I had a public profile, and that doesn't sit well with me, and I'm very mindful of what I put out online these days. But but yeah, I don't think that being 100% private is good either, especially me as an artist, as someone who likes to write, to draw, to paint. I like sharing my art with the world. I like sharing the way that I view the world. I like the fact that maybe this video can help someone out as other people have helped me out with their videos. Um, So that's the reason why I wanted to make it, and that's also the reason why I came back. It's been a year. I think that I highly recommend a year off in order to fully detox and fully have the experience of being offline to see if it's really for you. I realized that it's not for me to be 100% offline. So this past year, I was like actually offline in the sense of I wouldn't post anything and I wouldn't look at people's stuff unless it was like a cute kitty video on TikTok. I never gave up TikTok. Um, but I realized it was not for me. I felt lonely. And I feel lonely not because I don't have friends. I have friends and I have shared stuff with them. But, I missed some people that I was an acquaintance with on Instagram only. And actually, I came back like a kind of like 3 or 4 days ago. And they were like, oh, I missed you around here. And it was really nice. It felt nice. Um, and of course, I'm still not friends with these people. We have not, gone past, the social media channel and have exchanged numbers, but it could happen. And it still happens these days. I met my boyfriend at an online game. A lot of people that I've known have met each other through social media or through communities. And, people still meet each other these days. Of course, it's not the same as in the early days of the internet and the early days of social media. It doesn't happen as frequently because now we have more parasocial relationships between, regular users and influencers and, celebrities. But at the same time, people still find community, and I think there is value in that. There are lots of people doing really valuable stuff online. I follow a lot of artists on Instagram, for example. When I decided to open this account again, and I think I opened it, I can't remember when. I can remember when I opened this account. Maybe this year, January, or like end of last year. And I decided that I was gonna follow only my actual, friends that I talk to every day, my mom, my boyfriend. And then I started following lots of artists and I actually found like, oh, I am getting inspired now. So yeah, it's not, like it's neither black or white. It is not just, oh, I'm going offline, I've deleted all my profiles. And it is also not about being online 24/7. Uh, I highly encourage you, if there's anything I can tell you in this video as a form of advice is try to figure out the reason why you're doing things. The reason why we want to detox from social media in the first place is because we feel we are being influenced in a way that doesn't do a service to ourselves. So try to figure out if you're doing a disservice to yourself while doing this, because the last couple months I realized that I was struggling. I realized that I was missing it, but not in a addict sort of way. I was like, I kind of want to share what I'm doing, and I don't want to scream into a void of you know of a website. Like, I want to share on my newsletter. Like, I had stopped sharing on my newsletter as well. I want to be here every once in a while and talk to a camera. And yeah, I want to share stuff about my life. Of course, just because you want privacy doesn't mean that you can't share parts of yourself with the world. There are lots of things that have happened in my life last year that haven't seen the light, neither here or in my newsletter or even my Instagram profile. So I do keep a sense of privacy while also opening up myself and being vulnerable and sharing myself online. So yeah, that's that for this video. It's been a wonderful year. I have learned a lot about myself, a lot about society, a lot of things about where I stand. Right now, I'm more focused on living rather than optimizing and, having apps for everything and making an Excel out of everything. That I'm a very passionate person about, self-discovery and self-reflection and tracking things. But at some point in life, you have to let go and be like, okay, I'm going to start living life. I already know myself well enough. I am 33 years old. I have tracked my calories, my weight, my measurements. I have tracked my habits, my water intake. I have tracked my sleep. I don't know, my productivity at work and at my personal life. And I'm just like, I already know myself. And I feel like I'm in a good place where I can let all of that go, all of that control go, and start actually living life. I think it is important to remember that as well. Live life. And if social media is part of life, and I think it is, even if some people think or believe that they can do without social media, which is fine. I mean, if they are fine without social media, respect to them. But I think social media is a part of life right now. And I think denying it makes it a lot more harder on ourselves. So we can have a healthy relationship. But if you're in a position where you feel like you are addicted to it, not just like, oh, I open Instagram only once a day for 10 minutes. If it's longer than 10 minutes and you're scrolling mindlessly, there is addiction. There's a condiment of addiction there, and you have to address it. Maybe you will suffer a little bit. I did suffer a little bit for the first couple months of the first detox that I did back in 2022, I think. Uh, and then when I stopped feeling addicted, but I was still dealing with some of the consequences of overexposure and overconsumption and social media in general, I decided to go an entire year off. And honestly, I felt like I wasn't going to come back. I felt like, this is good for me and I'm feeling great, and overall I felt great. But yeah, then at some point, I guess, things started changing. You started to change when you go off social media and you discover things about yourself you didn't even know were there. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna, oh my God, I was trying to keep it short, but this is 20 minutes long. But then again, we're trying to embrace long form content these days. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, for sticking around if you made it so far, and I'll see you around.